Joanna Champion, I believe has been misinterpreted. Joanna did an interview earlier in the week, and she was said to have said that she would come back for more money, a title shot, and a crowd. That there must be those three things. She must get a raise, it must be for a title, and an audience must be in attendance. I read her interview. I don't agree. I do not think that is what she said. I thought she was being very candid. My interpretation, and I did this through reading it, had I seen it and seen body language and facial expressions, I think I would be even more sure that I am right. But my interpretation of what she said is she was just thinking candidly out loud as to what would be a great scenario to come back to. Sure, she said more money. Who wouldn't throw in more money? Sure, she said title shot. She's a competitor. Sure, she'd like a crowd there. Who doesn't want that energy? I didn't feel as though any one of those three things was a demand by her. I'm only bringing that to you because I thought that she got a little bit of a bad rap. I didn't think that she was holding out or she was trying to turn the gun on the organization. I didn't interpret it like that at all. She had made even the money part, and we've seen people publicly negotiate. I mean, it's boring. It never works. It's annoying. That's not what I saw her doing here at all. And by the way, she says she wants a title shot. Who's going to falter for that? She just fought Wei Li, who's flat scary, possibly the scariest woman fighter we've ever seen, not just now, possibly ever seen next to Amanda. You can have the argument, who's the scariest, Amanda, Cyborg, Wei Li, or you're just going to go Amanda into Wei Li. I mean, it's one of those things, right? So she's saying she wants to come back for a title shot. She's saying she wants to fight Wei Li, which, by the way, goes down as the fight of the year for all of 2020. I mean, it's not as though she's asking for something that's good for her. Any reasonable fighter that we wanted to be mad at would ask for what a fighter really should want, which is the easiest fight for the largest paycheck. That's not what Joanna did. She's trying to stack the deck against herself. I thought it was a cool move, for one. And secondly, I thought it was misinterpreted in tone. I thought that she was candidly answering a question as to what would be a great thing to come back to. And by the way, Joanna Champion is in a little bit of a tough spot. There is never a time, there has never been a time, I don't perceive that there will be a time anywhere in the near future that she's ever been called out. So she's going to come back, and she's going to come back to a big fight. Let's just call it a big fight. That's going to come down to who is she fighting, and nobody wants to fight her. You fight Joanna when you have to fight her or when you're offered to fight her and you got too much courage to back down and say no on that phone call. Nobody's ever called her out. So it's a little bit of a tough spot. I am what you would call a Joanna Champion fan. In all fairness, I didn't realize it's been almost a year since she's been in there. I just didn't realize that. Time just flew by, and the whole year was a mess, and it was bizarre. And it was all these different things. I didn't realize it'd been 12 months. But the reason I didn't realize that is because nobody calls her out. Her name should be in the media. You should be attaching your name to her, particularly if you find out that she may not want to come back. Now, that isn't the situation, but let's say that it was. Let's say that the headline that I saw from the author that I saw that said this, that said Joanna was laying down three things or she's not coming back, which is absolutely not my interpretation of her interview. Let's say that that's accurate. Even better, go after her. If you don't want to fight her, and there's no chance that you're going to fight her because she's already got her three things, none of which involve you, go after her. Attach your name to it. Believe me, I'll be sitting here making a piece if one of you had the courage to call her out. You don't. You never have. It hasn't happened. I don't perceive it to happen. That's a tough night out. I don't blame you. That's a tough night out, and that's a likely L, a painful L. But there's still an opportunity there. There's an opportunity. And the fact that I got to look at a calendar and realize it's just shy of a year since we've seen the former champion in there, who, by the way, got recognized for fight of the... I mean, this is a commodity. This is a hot commodity. You're not trying to attach yourself to her. It's a very bizarre thing. I was talking to you guys the other day about Logan Paul, the fact that Jake Paul is out there doing this. Jake Paul is doing the right thing. He is getting fighters to call him out. He is attaching himself to a sport that he's not part of, thus making him part of the sport. He's getting world champions and former world champions and future Hall of Famers to call him out. He's not calling them out. He doesn't need to. He's getting the headlines, just sitting there acting a fool. He's doing everything right. He's getting more attention, more praise, more headlines, and will get a bigger paycheck than the rest of you because he's doing it different. It's something to think about. But the same thing needs to be done with some of these top fighters. I don't see anybody calling out Robbie Lawler, just by example, but Robbie Lawler is a great comparison to Joanna. You're not calling him out because that's a tough night out right there. But if Robbie's sitting out, even if it's with an injury, if you don't have to go do the work, go pretend you wanted it. Go get the headline. Move on with your day. Take a lesson from Jake Paul. Do your job.